Positive K, pass me the mic. And as we've tried, like about 2 weeks ago, we're reaching out to America to speak to Kool Rock-Ski. And if everything's okay, we have you on the phone right now. Good evening.
Everything's good. What's up? How's it going?
Things are going very well. Certainly if we're talking to someone from the Disco 3, because that's how you guys started out back in the day.
Oh, yeah, Disco 3. Well, we were the Hypnotized 5. Two guys left, and left just with 3. So we called ourselves Disco 3.
So what was that time like? You know, the transition from going from 5 artists to 3.
Oh, it was good. I mean, it was more money for us. You know, so, you know what I'm saying? I mean, back then you had like all these different kind of groups. You know, like 5 or 6 in the group, and 5, 6 MCs. Then you had like 2 DJs. You know, so I guess they did it for the love of it because I couldn't see them getting paid that much money for it. So, but you know, cutting it down to 3 was good for us.
Yeah, so it was actually more for fun than it was, you know, to make big money.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was definitely fun because a lot of people don't realize we inspired to be football players at first. We wanted to play football, college and then professional. And when those plans didn't really work out, we fell in love with hip hop, but we loved football as well. So it was a 50-50 kind of thing. So when football didn't work out, we relied on just going straight into hip hop and just doing rapping.
Okay, now this probably is not going to be very interesting for the listeners at home, but I've played myself. What position were your ambitions at when it came to American football?
My ambition was to be a quarterback.
Nice.
You know, I had the arm strength. I mean, I can throw the ball from one end of the field to the other with no problem. I didn't have one particular attribute, which was my height. I didn't have the height. So when I went to try out, the coach asked me, what am I trying out for? I said, quarterback. So off the back, he said, well, you don't have the height, but let me see how far you can throw. So I threw the ball like 70 yards with no problem. He said, you got a cannon for an arm, but you don't have the height. You want to play running back? I'm like, I don't want to get hit. You know, I want to play quarterback. He said, well, that's not going to happen because you can't see over the offensive lineman.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that is a problem when you're a quarterback.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a problem. And the thing was, me and Buff, the human beatbox, went to the same high school. And Buff joined the team because I joined the team. And they wanted Buff really bad. They wanted him to play running back because he was like a bowling ball, you know. So, but he said, well, if you're not going to play, I'm not going to play. I said, well, you should play. He said, no, I'm not going to play if you're not going to play. So we quit. We really joined the team. We really wanted to join the team for the cheerleaders. That's what we wanted to do.
I can understand that.
You know, we wanted to be liked by the girls. But, they liked us even more once we came out with our first single, so...
Well, very good that you mentioned Buff Love because, you know, he is the human beatbox. And back in the day, your only competition when it came to beatboxing was Doogie Fresh. Was that really, you know, a love-hate relationship? How were you guys with the Doogie Fresh crew?
It was pure respect. You know, as Doug told me a couple of years ago, we were talking in Detroit. And Doug just told me it was just he had nothing but respect for Buff. He had nothing but respect for what we were doing for our whole group. And he said, you know, one thing he mentioned, you know, once we started making songs like Wipe Out and The Twist and all those kind of songs, he said, you don't know how important that was to the guys who couldn't make it to you guys' level or Run DMC or LL Cool J or Beastie Boys level.
Yeah. That
you guys were opening the door and getting us more money because rap was being recognized worldwide. He said, so even though you guys didn't like doing those songs, we were like, make more of those songs, make more Walk This Way, make more I Need Love, because that was opening the doors for more venues to say we can bring hip-hop in because there's, you know, people are starting to gravitate to it. You know?
It became...
A lot of buildings didn't want the music inside their buildings because they thought it was violent. Which it wasn't, you know.
No, it wasn't. But that was a stigma that has clung to hip-hop for many years. But in a way, you and Run DMC and LL Cool J made it more mainstream and more accepted.
Yeah, more accepted. And it had to get past New York. people don't understand them. When people start talking about Fat Boys and Run DMC, and they start saying how we went mainstream, we took it pop, and then along came Hammer and, Vanilla Ice and all those guys, just the floodgates open. People don't realize it couldn't stay in one place. They couldn't stay in the Bronx and Brooklyn and Queens.
No.
Because had it stayed in only those areas, it wouldn't be alive today. So it had to reach out to the masses. So when people are talking about how we sold out, how Run DMC sold out, and a few other rap groups sold out, they should be thanking us because they wouldn't be making money to this day had the music not gone mainstream.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there, are more guys that are grateful for what you did, because there were, of course, a few spin-offs when it came to the Fat Boys, like the Skinny Boys, which was,
right.
definitely funded on your ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Run DMC just paved the way for everything that came across hardcore. Run DMC was the focal point for anything that was hardcore. We was the focal point for anything that had humor to it.
Yeah.
So it was straight down the line. They went their way, we went our way with it, and everything that came after, pretty much, and I'm not saying it to be egotistical, everything that came after us was pretty much we laid down the foundation for. Nobody did it before us like that. Nobody did it before Run DMC like that.
Exactly. So in 1984, you left the name Disco 3 behind, became the Fat Boys, and brought out your self-titled debut, the Fat Boys.
Right.
What started happening then?
It was more marketable. Our manager, Charles Stetler, who coincidentally put together the rap and dance contest that we won in 1983. In 1983, the year prior to us coming out with our first big single, he saw something in us that he can market. So he said the disco thing is not going to work. We just wanted to name the Disco 3 because it was basic. Everybody had these crazy, elaborate names like, Treacherous 3, Grandmaster Flash, Furious 5. We just wanted to stay under the radar and just have fun with it. So what he did was, he said, we're going to have a name change party because you are what you are. You're three little chubby guys, so we're going to call you Fat Boys. And, and so we had a name change party, huge name change party from Disco 3 to Fat Boys, and, and it went over well. The name change party went over well. We donated all the money to a charity, and it was like the floodgates were open after that. You couldn't go anywhere. And I remember DMC and Jalil from Houdini once telling me they went to a club and it was like 5,000 people in the club, and they found out we weren't going to come to the club. The place emptied within like 20 minutes. So
wow.
People just gravitated to it because we had a different kind of sound. We had Buff doing the beatbox. You had three chubby guys on stage dancing, so people wanted. And plus, we were making good music on top of that. So, people just gravitated to it, and we just had so much fun doing it.
Yeah, fun. That always remained the main factor in everything you did, because a year after was your first feature in a motion picture, Krush Groove, and of course there were more movies to come. What was that like? You started out wanting to play football. When that didn't work out, you turned to hip-hop, which became hugely successful. And then all of a sudden, motion pictures are in the game.
Yeah, everything was coming in like a tornado, man. It was like everything was coming out of everywhere. Everybody wanted a piece of us. And Hollywood called upon us. The Krush Groove thing happened because the director and the writer figured out a way to incorporate us into the movie, because it was like, you can't make the whole movie so seriously, with Run DMC going through what they were going through within the movie, and then you had Curtis Lowe and all these people. It's, we got to have some humor in it. So the scene that you see, that us walking down the street listening to Run DMC, King of Rock, that was only going to be just our part of the movie, and that was it. But the director, who directed movies like Car Wash and, Coolie High, he took a liking to us. So he started writing more and more stuff into the script every day for us to be in the movie. The next thing you know, the movie comes out, and everybody just loved that scene, All You Can Eat.
Yeah, exactly.
So they were like, that's the Fat Boys movie. That movie's not about Run DMC. It's about the Fat Boys. Fat Boys stole the show. So, and then, Hollywood came calling again and gave us a 3-picture movie deal. And that first movie was Disorderlies.
Yeah.
But, like I said, everything was just happening so fast. And, we went from hanging out on the block in Brooklyn, New York, now we're overseas touring and standing in front of Buckingham Palace and messing with the guards. So everything was crazy, happening so fast,
So has that always staying alive throughout the movies and throughout the touring and making music, that having fun was always the key part of the Fat Boys?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I often said to Prince Markie Dee, I always told him the best part of our success wasn't the record sales, wasn't the money we were making, the expensive hotels we were staying in, the first-class flights. I said, none of that, what was important. I said the best thing about it was us just making it, and the three of us just being to ourselves. So that's all we had sometimes, was the three of us.
Yeah.
I remember we were like 17 and 18 years old. We were still kids. So when most kids were in high school, we were out promoting our music. So we had to go to radio stations and TV stations to do interviews. And after those days were over, at the end of the day it was over, we would do stuff like have a wrestling match in the bedroom, in our rooms, and, tear the hotel rooms up.
Just because?
Yeah, just because we just wanted to be young and still have fun. We didn't want to let the music industry just swallow us up and treated us like we were like in our 30s and 40s. We were just still kids at that time. So, our manager seen that, and he let us have our fun. We went to game rooms when we didn't have nothing to do. We just went to game rooms on the road and arcade rooms rather, and just had fun.
But you just said, you weren't going to let the music industry treat you like adults and, form you in any kind of way. Was there any form of control from record labels or promoters?
After Wipeout came out, that's when the control just came in. That's when, when Wipeout came out and we hit that top 40, I think it peaked at 7 or 8 on the top 40 as singles. The record company wanted us to make more songs like that. They wanted us to make more top 40 songs. That's when the control came in. Prior to that, it was all about us just doing hip-hop and R&B. But once that Wipeout came out, it was like, no more of this hip-hop R&B. We're going to start making these kind of records. Louie, the Twist. At one point, they wanted us to do a song with Little Richard. Collaborate with Little Richard. And that's when it just got overwhelming, and it just got to the point where we didn't rely on us just being a hip-hop R&B group. They wanted us to write songs that were specifically for the top 40.
Yeah, and that took the fun out of it?
Audience. Yeah, it took the fun out of it. Because now it was no longer just catering to a hip-hop audience. Now you had to write for a mainstream audience. You understand? So when you start writing that, you start losing your perspective of what you really got into this thing for.
Exactly.
Not saying that writing for a mainstream audience is bad, but you got to water down everything now. You know what I'm saying? And
yep, exactly.
Why can't we just be who we are and still promote it as, we're the Fat Boys? So you're not going to get something from us like cursing and screaming and calling girls derogatory names. You're not going to get that from us anyway. So why not just let us be who we are anyway?
Yeah.
But they didn't see it like that.
Was that change what actually started the pursuit of a solo career by Markie Dee?
Well, Mark and our manager didn't see eye to eye. He started to despise Mark a lot, and he wanted to replace him in some cases. And once the group broke up, once our manager went his way, and we went our way, because our manager actually thought we were going to come back to him saying, hey, we need you back. But we figured, hey, we did all we can do. We took it as far as it can go with him. So let's just go our separate ways. So Mark went his way, and, you know, me and Buff just did what we had to do.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, after that breakup, a few years later, there was no more room left for you and Buff to do stuff. For the simple fact that Buff was not amongst us anymore.
Well, I mean, we were planning on doing a reunion album with a whole lot of other rappers and producers. We were starting to get a lot of people on board. And, you know, Buff he just fell into this sickness when he had this flu. He couldn't knock it. You know, he couldn't get rid of this flu. And, you know, he passed out one night and, you know, while he was making music. That's the crazy part. He was doing what he loved to do. You know what I'm saying? So, in other words, he passed away doing what he loves to do. So,
wow. That really hit me. Sorry. You went on to do some other solo projects as well, because you had an EP going out in 2009 called Party Time.
Yeah, I did an EP. I did the auto-tune. I incorporated that into my music. And I regret that to this day. So I shouldn't have been following a trend. I should have been making a trend. But, you know, it was what it was. I mean, we did a whole lot of songs, and Mark's manager, he wanted to put it out on iTunes. So I said, all right, you know, let's see what it do. So we just put that together. It was real quick. It was like within a month we put that stuff out. I did like maybe 30 songs within like 2 weeks, you know? So, you know, I was just breezing through songs. And we just put those 4 songs on the EP and just put it out.
Okay, so what's happening nowadays? What's happening with Kool Rock-Ski and what's happening with Prince Markie Dee?
Mark is still in California. He's in Miami. Matter of fact, this is 2016. The last time I was down there for a year. That's why I lived down there. He lives right down the block from me. And so we hung out a lot. And, you know, he's still down there. I think he's doing radio on the weekends. I know he's DJing at a club. And me, I'm just, you know, just doing personal appearances, putting together a book. I'm starting the book next month, putting that book out. I'm also putting together a fitness book as well. So I'm just trying to stay busy and also try to educate people on the importance of working out and staying in shape, you know.
Oh, good. What are the books going to be about, and when will they be released?
The first book is going to be called. We don't have the title for the actual book, the first book. But it's just a biography about the Fat Boys and you know, how we grew up and, you know, how I grew up and grew into a fat boy. You know what I'm saying? So the second book is called Wipe Out the Pounds, and it's just a thing of what I went through to get to where I'm at now. You know, going from 335 pounds and dropping down to 160.
Whoa, bravo.
Just, staying in shape. Yeah, you know, just trying to stay in shape because a lot of us are just leaving so early. You know, was, you know, back when I was growing up, if you had a stroke, that was for people who was in their like late 60s and 70s and 80s. Now you got guys getting strokes at like 30s and in their 30s and 40s. Yeah. That's because they're not taking care of themselves. And, you know, so I'm just trying to teach these guys the proper way to exercise and, you know, get themselves prepared for the future.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very important topic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something we need.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when, you know, people take it to heart what you're writing down.
Right, exactly.
Well, Kool Rock-Ski, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah, no problem, man.
The computer over here had some problems with the heat. I hope that is solved now, because we're going to play one of your songs, of course, and what you were known for, the human beatbox of the Fat Boys. Once again, thank you very much, Kool Rock-Ski.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
Stick 'em! Ha ha